What it do, what it do, what it do. We're back, like we promised.
Yeah,
Gents,
it's what I'm so excited to be back. I'm like it's wonderful. It's
no. I think let's get straight into it. The Springboks played well. The Rugby Championship kicked off this past weekend. Rassie came out on the other side smelling like roses. But let's look at the team that he released to face Australia this coming weekend. I think, if I remember correctly, he made 10 changes to that team that
yes.
faced Australia last weekend. Mko, run us through it
Yeah.
quickly.
Yes. I'm nervous about the changes. I'm very nervous.
Tell me why.
My issue with the changes that have been made, you get the sense that there is no core team. You know, the core team that's always there. So you have the core team and you add a few players in to see what they could bring. Now it's going to be hard to see what lessons are you going to take out of the game when there's no core team. You understand? Because you don't know how they're going to work with the guys that you're going to consistently play. So you can't test how Apelele Fasi would be in the normal team, because almost all the guys here are the guys he wouldn't ordinarily use. So I'm a bit
Okay,
worried that
so since
yes,
you've jumped on for Pelele fast, let's go through the back line. In
yeah,
that back line, besides the scrum half, who's got, I think, one cap to his name.
Can I read it? Can I read through the squad? The backline, number 15, Apelele Fasi,
Mm.
Cheslin Colby at 14, Jesse Creel at 13, 12, Lucanyo Am, 11, Magazole Mapimpi, 10, Sasha Feinberg Mgomezulu, number 9, Monet van der Berg. So it looks like only Sasha and Jesse, okay, Sasha, Jesse, and Cheslin, right, have been retained from the first test. Was
No,
Cheslin there?
but
He was there.
is talking about a core team.
Okay.
Ulukanyo is part of the core team. He's a World Cup winning player. Magazole Mapimpi is a World Cup winning player. Jesse Krill is a World Cup winning player. Cheslin Kobe is a World Cup winning player. So when you talk about a core team in the backline, you've missed the point, Chief. What Rassie, I think, is doing, in this 23, I think there are 2 new caps, if I'm not mistaken. But what I think Rassie is doing, in the main, he is blooding youngsters, because he's got that whole belief, you can't play for the Springboks in the World Cup if you've got less than 8 caps. So I think what he's doing is he's building the depth going into this cycle of the World Cup. And I personally, I can't fault him for that. And he's not pulling out players from obscurity. These are guys who've been in the system. And I mean, if we complain that Rassie has got, I made this complaint last weekend that Rassie's got his own people that he goes to, and he's pulling people in now. So when he's doing it, we can't still complain and say, yeah, but the core of the team is not there.
I felt the same way, Mni, just to agree with you. I personally am happy with the backline. He's showing our depth, and these are players that I think they could put in a good showing in terms of running rugby, skillful rugby, and the damage they could bring if they really show up, I think, to be incredible. I think it's fair to give MXO a chance to explain his argument.
Okay.
Yes, MXO.
Yes. My argument is, we all know a rugby team consists of 15 players. I agree that Lucanyo M and so on, and Magazole Mapimpi, very experienced, and those are the guys. But then at the same time, we have to look at which guys were playing in the last World Cup. You know, like which guys were always showing up. So for me, that is the core squad. Now, here's my worry. When we look at the forwards, I'm glad these guys are there. And they're representing, and they're going to show us what they can contribute to what the offering that we have is. I'm glad that they're there to add and show us something. But I'm worried, let's say things don't quite work out, and for instance, Apelele Fasi is playing at the back, but they don't get that quality ball up front, because I mean, we have to just assume that Australia is going to come out fighting, especially with a squad like this. They're going to say, oh, okay, we've been given a chance and we've been underestimated. So they're going to really come out fighting. Now, these guys, with the forwards that we have, the cohesion, I don't know if the cohesion of the team is going to be there, like the squad that played on the weekend. Therefore, even if the guys stand up, the ones who are not consistently there, like were not trialed and tested, like Uchesley, Lucanio, Makazole, Peter Steph Dutoit, those guys are going to stay
Maybe.
because we
Sorry,
know what
carry on.
they can do. But then guys like Obo Pelele Fasi, because let's say the ball is not, they're not getting the quality ball they would get if they were playing with the other squad, then they're going to be left like, I think they're not going to be fairly assessed.
No, I think this guy must just stay in the Northwest there. I think he doesn't want Apelele there.
No,
I
I'm
think he
cool with
I think he
Apelele. I'm
prefers
cool.
Uvili.
No, look, from what I'm hearing you say, Mko, your issue is not the back line so much, but the pack
Yes.
of forward. Let's
Yeah,
go
because
through the forward.
the backline is fairly experienced. So when you
Yes,
speak
it's
of experience,
experience.
as Umni says, you're probably referring to
Okay,
the forward
let's
pack.
maybe go through the forwards. Can you put the
Yeah.
forwards up again for us, Zizi? So the squad. Just so we go through it, fine tooth comb style. Jan Hendrik Wessels is a product of the Blue Bulls. What kind of rugby do the Blue Bulls play? Question to you, Mko.
I know. I see the kind of rugby that they play. I'm just worried about cohesion.
Okay, so
Well,
the fact that they haven't played together as the Springboks, so they won't gel
yes,
together, and they might have some rusty
difficulty.
issues there. Yeah.
Yes,
No, but Mko, it's not like Rassie woke up today and called these guys in. He's had
yes, not for
alignment
sure.
camps. He's had training camps for these players. So it's not like they don't know each other. So I'm
Yeah.
not sure what your worry is.
My telltale sign is look at that bench.
What about the bench?
That looks like a break the glass in case of emergencies bench.
It's a 5-3 split, right?
But it is a 5-3 split. But that's how Rassie rolls, Chief. Even last week's bench was the same sort of setup. Malcolm Marx on the bench.
Yes. Ox wasn't on the
He was,
bench.
yeah, because he
Ox
was
wasn't on the
injured.
bench.
He wasn't in the
Evan
23. He was injured. He was
Yes.
missing an injured, boss.
Ox.
Yes.
But he started, didn't he?
No. Ops was not
Oh,
in the
okay.
23 last weekend.
Oh, is it?
Hey, the Northwest is slowing you down, my chief.
Yeah, but look at those names there. Just look at them. Those guys are for me, break in case of emergencies kind of guys.
Talk us through what you see. We are
Malcolm,
looking. Tell us what you see.
for instance, Oxenjay has become a starter for us as far as I know. Eben Esbeth, you understand? Those guys, for me, it signals, Guti, if things don't quite work out and he puts three of those guys there, we've almost got the normal starters. So for me, it also comes across as, yes, he wants to test his guys, he wants to get the caps, but he's also not confident,
No, I don't read it like that. So here's the thing about blooding players. You can't do your blooding just against a Portugal or a second-rate nation.
Yeah.
You need to put players under World Cup pressure to see how they handle it.
For sure.
You know?
For sure.
And it's not like these guys are coming in from obscurity. Like I'm saying, they've been in the system. I mean, Murat captained the team against Portugal, but he's played for the Springboks before that. And he's been in the underage
He's been in
groups
the
of the
system,
Springboks coming up. So he's not new to the system. And the same goes for everyone else that's been picked. They are not foreign to the system that Rassie is trying to implement. So, I mean, I'd understand if you said there's no cohesion in the back line. That's something else.
You're making my point exactly. You don't need cohesion there as much as you need it up front. It starts up front. You don't need cohesion at the back there as much as you need it up front. It starts up front. Everything starts up front. So I'm just concerned that we have great players here. We have great players here, but now we're assessing them based on this game. And for them, it's a make or break kind of situation. And if they're not playing, if they're not playing,
make or break.
There's guys there. I don't want to say it here. That I have a feeling they've been.
Chief, where are you gonna say it if you don't say it here?
I have a feeling they've been put.
Who are you scared of? Let's protect. Who are you scared of?
I'm not scared of. I'm worried for.
Who are you worried for?
For who?
Yeah, but I'm worried for Apelele, because Apelele is on for me. It's just that if now you play him in a pressure kind of a high intense pressure kind of situation where Australia is going to come out guns blazing, they're going to be playing for pride, and now we don't have our big guns there.
Who's that big gun that you wanted in the back, MXO?
Yeah.
Who's that big gun you wanted in the place of Apelele?
No, not in the place of Apelele. I'm saying those big guns up front there.
He's worried that the forwards are not going to show up for Apelele to shine. That's your worry.
It's not going to be the normal base that Tuvili plays with.
That's your worry, though?
Yes, that's my worry a little bit. I think we've changed too many guys.
Come on, speak your mind.
Yes, I think we've changed too many guys. If we had the normal tight five, if we had at least the tight five to start with, and then we had some guys coming off the bench that are starting here, I'd feel better.
Why do you think we were given these changes, guys? 10 new people in this squad to face Australia for the second match in the Rugby Championship.
I can tell you why.
Changes?
Because we've already won the last game. We won with a bonus point, and the other games that are coming after this game are the All Blacks. So besides, let's say, Argentina, this is the only game we can test ourselves, that we might not have a lot to lose. I think that's why. Because by the time we play the All Blacks and we go into Argentina, that could change too much for us. You understand? Like with the All Blacks, for instance, we could easily just come undone. And then with the Argentinian games, we'll still win those games. But I'm just concerned that as much as Australia, what happened in the weekend happened, Australia is going to come out guns blazing. That coach, number one, that guy is used to winning. He comes from the Irish team. He understands us. And he really wants to show up because already the honeymoon is over now. Those guys have really been embarrassed, the guys in the Australian squad. And if that guy shows good faith and gives them another go, it's going to come out at a cost. So they might be facing a more rallied and ready to go team than the team that our main guys faced last week. These guys might be more up to it, but then we don't have them in the squad.
The score from last week. It was 33-7. One try for Australia. How many tries did we have? Did we leave?
Yeah.
Do we have 5?
We left a few tries on the field.
That's my man of the match, Kedley Aronson. But, okay, sorry, yeah?
So here's why I think Rassie made the changes he made. I think the primary reason he made the changes he made is to blood players and to see what they can do in big match situations, right? That's reason number one. But I think linked to that for me is Australia didn't show a lot this past weekend. And because they didn't show a lot, I don't know why you think they're going to come out guns blazing this weekend. Australia has done very little since before the World Cup. I mean, Schmidt is a good coach, but I think there are big problems in Australian rugby, and I don't think he can fix them in 2 or 3 months that he's been there. Yes, Joe is a good coach, but I don't think anything's going to change from last week personally. If Australia was to beat us, it would have been last week where they've got the wood over us at Suncorp. And they didn't show up for that. So I don't see how they're going to, a week later, turn things around to a point where we are worried that our pack is going to come unstuck. Yeah, we've got players that are not tested, but I don't think that's a worry. I mean, they've played in the URC, which is a tough competition for the forwards. And they've come out. I mean, Undo, the one prop is from the Bulls, the other plays for Bath. So these guys are tested. They're not from, they're not from Makale Kusha somewhere. They are tested players.
Who are your standout players? Who are your standout players from last week, Mni, and who are you looking forward to see in the upcoming match?
I thought, I mean, I'm always hard on Jesse Creel, you know, and Jesse had a good game, Shem. I think his game has come
what
along.
What does that shame mean?
No, I mean,
I get what you say.
I'm on record as saying I'm not a fan of Jesse Creel, and his rugby's come along. I think also being outside of Dialendi has helped him with some confidence, and I think they've built up a rapport. But I think Curtly Arons had a good game. Had a very good game. I mean, you saw
Man
that
of the
try
match
that he
for
walked
me.
through the whole Australian team and got
Sasha
it under
also
the
had a
pole.
great showing.
But
Sasha,
of
I
course,
thought.
I don't think he's had a bad game in the Springbok jersey. That's my take. Vili didn't have a good game.
Because of that one pass. Because of that one pass.
He didn't have a good game, Chief.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys who left on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, but his people were really defending him in the comments there. Eh? But he came under fire for that pass he didn't make after that brilliant individual play from Sasha.
No, Vili, guys, I'm not a Vili fan. I've said this.
But no matter what you say, Uvili is going to get to his 100th cap. He's now at 96, if I'm not mistaken. MXO.
No, I believe you, Chief. It's not far-fetched. I think that speaks to my point I made last week, that Uras has got players that he will always fall back on. And Vili is one of those.
MXO, what stood out for you? And who are you looking forward to see this coming weekend?
Last week, for me, I enjoyed how the guys played. I enjoyed the innovation they had on the field. I enjoyed that they were wide, and how they used their channels. And also with what the forwards were doing, the forwards were dynamic. It showed even with the change of the laws that they had adapted. They were testing a few things out. But again, that being said, we were facing the Australian team we were facing, Which
Can I just say something? Two things for me. Fatsia had a good game, scored a try. We had to note that because we spoke about Sia last week. But the second thing for me, we are seeing Tony Brown's influence on the back line. Tony Brown has come on as the attack coach, and he has made a world of a difference. Maybe actually part of the reason that Jesse Creel has come as far as he's come between the World Cup and now is the Tony Brown influence. I mean, we cannot discount the genius of the man. He took a Japan team and made it a world beater, And if you've got more material to work with like the Springboks have, then we're starting to see the Springboks game getting very well rounded. You've got the forward dominance, then you've got the threat of the back line. It's just they're weapons. I said this last week. Those guys are weapons.
I have to absolutely agree. Even that move up front, I have a feeling that was Tony Brown there with the line out. I have a feeling there's something. Out. Yes. When there was a double pod and they caught the ball and they offset and they threw it back to the guys, you know, where Sia Colis's try came from. I have a feeling that's also probably Tony Brown.
Let's not discount Rassie Erasmus's creativity also, guys. I mean, Rassie is a genius. So let's not put it all on Tony.
The mere fact that he has made the appointments he has proves that. Yeah. So,
I think. Yeah, go for it.
I was gonna say, I was happy to see what I saw last week, but I must say, between me and you, given the Australia we saw, and I'm sure we're not gonna see the same Australia this weekend, I'm more excited about this game. And the reason why I'm excited about this game is we're gonna get a proper test, I feel, because of the players that are currently here. These guys have a lot to prove. The guys that are here, like the front three guys. Even Thomas du Toit was one of those guys we thought would be a starter for the Springboks. So here's another opportunity for him to really show and remind us why he was seen that way. And then we've got UM. UM still has to prove himself through the injury. And we saw glimpses of the damage he could do during Portugal. So I'm excited to see if that injury is completely waning out, you know. Abo Ruan Noje, I'm not convinced, but that's why they're here. I have a feeling this game is the game where people are being asked, like, guys, show yourself. Show us what you can do. So I have a feeling they're gonna throw everything at this game. It's probably gonna be more exciting than the one we watched last week. And then we've got guys like about Cheslin Colby, because as much as he was all around the field and we were using him at scrum half and so on, in this game, he's going to be playing his actual role, I feel. And because of the pressure that the forwards are going to have, I have a feeling we're going to see a Cheslin Colby on fire here, because he's somewhat going to have to play out of his skin to remedy the situations we might find ourselves in. I'm excited to see the game.
None of the guys who've been selected for this week weaken the team in any way. And that's just my take on everything. I think if anything, Rassie's building a depth that we're gonna fall back on down the line, and I can't fault him on that. But I think the other thing I wanted to mention before we close it down, we haven't said anything about the All Blacks losing to Argentina this past weekend. I think it would be sacrilegious not to mention how Argentina came out to Wellington and put the All Blacks to the sword. I think Ureza is waking up. He's getting a rude awakening of what coaching at international level can be like. He has not had it his way around England. He has not had it his way now against Argentina. And it's going to get even harder when he gets on the road. And he goes to Buenos Aires, or he goes to Ellis Park, or he goes to Cape Town. Although we know that Cape Town is somewhat of a
home game,
an All Blacks home test, but he's going to struggle at the rate he's going at. And I said to someone, if nothing changes quickly for him, Reza, I don't know if he's going to make the World Cup. And I'm calling it this year already.
Expectations. What will the score be for Australia, South Africa in Perth?
I think it's going to be another. No, I think it's going to be another captain's run. They're going to play a bit of shadow rugby. They're going to put another, I'll say 15 points on them.
From my side, I think it's gonna be maybe a 7-pointer, and I think that might be generous. I think these guys are gonna come out fighting. I'm really excited to see this game.
I underestimate Joe Schmidt's coaching, clearly.
No, I also think it's going to be closer, but I don't see Australia coming closer than 12 points. The gap should be 12 points or even more. I really believe in the back line. I think we're going to be playing a lot of creative running rugby. The forwards, I have my issues with them. The experience is not that much on the international level, but I'm hoping they're going to show up, and it's going to be another walk in the park.
And I think just to touch on the bench quickly, I'm hoping that they bring on Manny Lebok with a good few minutes on the clock still, and he can give us a good showing. He didn't have a good outing. His last time in the Springbok jersey, he didn't kick very well. So I'm hoping that he gets some time on the field, and he gives us a solid run, man. We love to love him when he's having a good time, but let's support him through the trough as well, I feel.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And we have to remember when our backs were against the wall, he was good enough then, you know?
Yeah.
So now that our backs are not against the wall, we should back him.
Yeah.
I agree.
Back Lebok.
Yeah.
Word of the day, back Lebok.
Yeah.
Iva, mfana. Come, MXO, hit us with where must they go? Who must they click on? Come on. Do your thing, Chief.
Guys. See you on YouTube. Like, comment, share your thoughts. How you feeling about the game? How do you think the outcome's gonna go? We here for it, guys. We here for it.
Give us stick also when we think we've got it wrong. Let us know.
Either way we win, I think it's gonna be great for spectators. This game, this is the game. If you ask me, off the weekend, the All Blacks are gonna whip. They're gonna whip someone. So that game might not be as exciting, but this I think is gonna be the game of the weekend.
And if you are a South African,
and if you are a South African fan, let us know where you'll be watching the box this weekend and which match is on your diary when the guys are back in the country. It's the Rugga Muffin podcast, TMO, MNI, MXO.
Tweede.
Like, share, subscribe.